Okay, we're live.
3, 2, 1. Hello, inThirty listeners. I don't know what episode number this is, so we will spare you that at the top of the show. And we've got 3 hardware announcements to talk about. We're not going to split them up in 10-minute increments because there is one that is a good deal more important than the other 2. Tom Webster of inSecurity, or what is the name of the show now, guys?
Security inThirty.
Security inThirty. Okay, so Tom is with us, replacing Paul, who is busy commuting to or fro Austin, right?
Yeah, he had a business meeting and they flew him. I want to say via private jet, but I could be completely wrong.
They only flew in one direction, or and he had to fly the other one, or what?
No, he flew and Laura had to drive.
Okay, all right. And now, of course, that was Haim Cohen speaking. For those of you who are tuning in to this 140-something episode for the first time and don't recognize his mellifluous voice. Okay, let's start with the easiest announcement first, and I guess I cannot be away from them for a single episode. Apple had a Phil Schiller press release type of announcement today that they cut $200 off the base model of the iMac, and to do that, they threw in the ultra-low voltage Intel chip that it was previously in the MacBook Air. Haim, does that mean that your mid-2009 MacBook Pro is going to be replaced soon?
No, only because we all know you never buy the entry-level iMac, ever.
Well, okay, Tom, can you imagine that the ultra-low voltage chip is more than sufficient for the great number of users, and apparently it's dual core only, it's not quad core, so this is not, I mean, but does it matter at $10.99?
Yeah. For $10.99, you could buy a fantastic PC. So, if you're going to buy a Mac, you're buying it for a reason, right? You're buying it for the experience. Why make that a terrible experience with no good hardware? Running a Mac isn't particularly hard, right? It's a really slim OS, but when you're running a Mac, you want to be running a Mac. You don't want to be skimping by on the bare bones.
Okay. So it seems to me, though, that going back all the way to Haim's computer and my computer, the mid-2009 13-inch MacBook Pro, it runs Mavericks adeptly, right? We both replaced the spinning disks with SSDs, and the RAM is maxed out to 8 gigs. But Haim, if it were, it has more than acceptable performance even if it were a new computer, right?
I'm not happy, but I think I can squeeze another year out, especially if Yosemite can really run on the same specs as they're saying. I think I can get one more year out, and I think that's always the goal.
And considering that, Tom, don't you think that this iMac, once you place it on the desk, and let's just put it to you this way, the only cord that you might have to use is the power cord. You use Bluetooth for the mouse and keyboard. You need a battery charger, recharger. But that's it. It's sitting on your desk. It's super slim. It never makes a peep. It's dual core, not quad core. But for the vast majority of computing tasks, you still think it's insufficient.
I wouldn't call it insufficient necessarily. If you're looking for an all-in-one computer where you just sit it on the desk and you don't bother with anything else, I think at this price, it's by far the best all-in-one machine. Just like, to compare it to the cheapest version of the MacBook Air, of the 13-inch, if you're looking for the cheapest entry Ultrabook, believe it or not, right now the MacBook Air is the way to go. But as a standard computer, you can get a whole lot more bang for your buck in the PC market.
So this is maybe a Mac that is not it's certainly far less than top of the line for creative tasks, but if you look at it through the window of the MacBook Air, it's for everyday computing, and this is just
for education. This is for education.
So that was going to be my next. I was going to say enterprise though. This might be the first time at $1,100. It'll come with the wired keyboard and mouse for that maybe. Where if you're going to outfit people at a call center and you want a really low, total cost of ownership for these computers, and they just have to be running a web app for $1,100 per person with a headset. This might work, right?
You could do a Chromebook.
I was going to say.
But you need to outfit.
I would like to work for the call center who gives their employees iMacs, right?
I mean, if you scrimp and save on, I know in the enterprise, sometimes people scoff at a little bit more expensive, but this way, you can even save on desk space because you don't have to be dealing with a
Justin,
separate tower.
Remember, Tom works in the enterprise.
Yeah.
It's only one out of 3 of us.
if we were a Mac company, right? We're a Windows shop, but if we were a Mac shop, at this price point, it's not portable. We'd buy everyone Airs at this price point. It's good, it's better, but it's not low enough. If we could get this for 800, 900, done deal. But at that price point, we should just get something portable.
When I outfit a medical office, they 1,200, 1,300, all the way to 1,350. And these are even for like accountants. If I go to Dell with that, I'm not happy with what I'm getting, frankly. And maybe the iMac doesn't have enough USB ports, but aside from that, knowing how simple it is to just to integrate it into the environment, just like at a hardware level, it works. My clients, then maybe they've got a little more to spend, but this would work. This would be the first time where I would comfortably say, you want to buy 10 computers, you want to spend 15 grand in total, maybe and you get a Mac Mini as a server for a lot of them. I could see this for the first time, and I wouldn't, it would work. Also, for a lot of cases, still, companies and people making the decisions don't want their employees to be able to walk with the computer. If they want to work from home, it's bring your own device. So that.
Again, you're talking to Tom, who knows more than the two of us on this, but it's here's the thing. I'm assuming that the average workstation is going to cost $800, and what are these?
I don't sell medical offices computers that are $800.
Are you selling more or less?
Always more. Always,
well, I think my company is between 6 to 8 for a decently powered. Either accounting or even engineering CAD drawing computer. We can get away for $800 for a desktop.
What state are you in, Tom?
Essentially automotive design.
Oh, I mean, what physical location are you in? What state?
Oh, Dayton, Ohio.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if it changes that much.
It shouldn't.
Luckily, when people I don't make much money on the hardware, but at $800, it's just I don't know that I could price something out that, I'll put it to you this way, that would have gigabit Ethernet to begin with. And then here's the thing that I'm not accounting for. I'm always shopping for computers that are pre-installed with Windows 7 Professional so that they can join Active Directory domains, and that's where it gets a little tricky. And I'm not considering that issue, but I know that the iMacs and OS 10 can be managed centrally right out of the box pretty well, even with one server. All right, so let's time. Where are we on time?
We're at 8 minutes, but just last thing. It's a good starting price, but that's what it is. It's a starting price. It's going to get bought up by education, who are now fighting either the Chromebooks or other things. Apple's fighting the Chromebooks in education, I could see it being in the business, but for a couple $100 more, you're already paying that to get a little more oomph for power. Maybe you go higher, you get more RAM, so you don't have to replace them in 3 years. You can wait 5 years.
All right, so we'll put it there. Okay, so before we get to the, you know what? Then let's do
the big one.
We'll stick it in the middle. Okay, so we've been talking about this. I think of the people that have been on inThirty, I've been the most interested anyway in Jeff Bezos' smartphone, which is simply titled the Fire. Right? It's a fire sale at Amazon. That's it. Just the Fire, not the Fire phone. This is Amazon's smartphone. It is called the Fire. Am I correct?
Yeah, sort of. It's called the Fire Phone, but on their product listing page, it says Amazon Fire Phone, 32GB AT&T.
Okay, so this is an AT&T only. It looks like an iPhone. I would say it looks most like an iPhone. And we've mentioned it before. It has 4 additional sensors on the front of the phone to do what? Who wants to take us into this parallax universe that apparently we all have to live in now?
Apparently, it's going to identify products.
That's a different feature. That's a software feature that they're making out as being really important. But we're talking here the 3D interface, the face tracking, the eye tracking, so that it can tell when you get to the bottom of the page, like so many Samsung phones. Exactly.
Why? This is like the S Pen, man. This is like one of the most useless features I've seen that isn't reproduced anywhere. No one's going to build apps for it. The hardware, may be flimsy at best with this thing. We've seen this before, right? We've seen companies try crazy stuff like this with their interfaces, with their screen, and it never, ever, ever is anywhere near as good as it is in the demo. Ever.
So I think that people at Amazon are using this as like a wedge to get people's mind on the device and know that its use cases are limited. They can at least show the video of someone using the Kindle app and the face tracking or the eye tracking, which has been done on Samsung, sees that they get to the end and it scrolls down for them. Is this fundamental to the experience, or is this is like a really good middle tier smartphone that for people that don't want to know about Android or even iOS? Where does it fit?
If it were being placed as a mid tier smartphone, it wouldn't be $650 off contract or $200 with. I mean, at that point, just get the newest Samsung, right? If you're
no,
in
you
the
mean
Android
you
market,
don't want to
just
say it, but you mean get the newest iPhone. I mean, that's what you're saying. That's what
that's exactly what I meant. I didn't mean Android at all. I meant just go right to iOS and buy the latest, greatest thing from Apple because they're perfect.
Okay. So I really did think you were saying that, but apparently you were not equipped.
Well, no, go. I mean, yeah, buy whatever Google Play edition that you want. Buy the S5, or if you want to save, or if you want to buy two phones, buy two Nexus 5s.
Yeah, just get a great Nexus.
That's true. You know what? For me to say it's mid-range is I was wrong, because the off-contract price, it's not that. And I was thinking to myself that there aren't phones that are worth having in your pocket for less than $650, but the Nexus 5 proves that wrong. So let's just the hardware features are pretty run-of-the-mill, really. Besides the 4 face tracking, I don't know if it's infrared or what, but that it just seems like the NSA's wet dream in a way to have this thing like sitting on a desk somewhere. But there's some software gimmicky stuff, just like the other Amazon new wave products. It has like the built-in concierge, like an Amazon rep who's probably in a sweaty, talk about a call center. You don't want to be I don't know. They can come onto the screen and tell you how to install your email 24 hours a day. And then it has this Firefly thing, which is a product search, right? But it's supposed to be, Amazon, to limit that to the phone doesn't make a lot of sense.
You have to remember, give them credit, because everyone is bashing Android right now and saying, or bashing Google, and it's loud. Google is forked Android in such a way that no one can do anything else with it. And here you go, Amazon created a tablet that runs Android but doesn't use the word Android anywhere. They now made a phone, and that
further bashes Google's Android, because let me just throw one other feature in there which I think is interesting and might get lost. If you take a photo on this device, Amazon will store it for you gratis, unlimited, which I think Google should do with some of their hardware too. So you have unlimited photo storage if the photo was taken from the Nexus, or from the Fire. Okay, going back though, Amazon is cleaning up Google's mess with this phone. That is what I see them doing.
Oh no!
That is what I see them doing.
This is putting you in this weird Amazon-branded jail cell that you will never ever leave. You know, do you want Google Music on it? Well, that's probably too bad. Do you want Gmail on it? Yeah, you can't do that. Sorry. Do you want Google Play on it? No, we don't do that here.
Is there no Gmail? Gmail has to come out from the Google
Play.
No,
it's not. No, it's Google Play. It has to come from Google Play. And we talked to Philip, and we talked to the Pocket Cast people. You are not getting Pocket Cast, which therefore inThirty on the Amazon App Store.
inThirty a lot of other ways, but okay. So when you're in this jail, okay, the hardware certainly doesn't make it worth it. They're giving you Prime free for maybe that'll be forever with it, but you get Amazon Prime for a year. Is this like a shopper's
full year?
Oh no, I'll tell you what it makes this phone. This is what separates the phone from everything else. Not only are you locked into the Android jail, but you're locked into the AT&T jail simultaneously.
So you are in solitary confinement solitary confinement in the Alcatraz of Android, is what you're saying here.
Yes,
you're locked into also the Amazon jail. Remember, the Amazon jail, because you have to use their app. So then when you move out of it, you have to install the Amazon App Store, then download the apps again.
Yeah, okay. You're in a jail cell within a bigger, more horrible jail cell.
Okay.
You get a free year of Prime, so that's $100 value. So let's take $650. Let's take $100 off. Okay.
That's $550. Is it really worth it for the exclusivity, right? Because it's not unlocked, right? It's just off contract.
I don't.
You could just go to T-Mobile with this.
Why did Amazon? Okay, before we get into from the Amazon end of things, I'd like to say that I appreciate in principle that there is this third party out there that is at least getting into the smartphone race. I think it'll better the competition, and it'll keep people on their game a little more. I'm happy that Amazon is in there. I like the Kindle hardware. I haven't seen a Fire TV in person. Their tablets do pretty well. I'm just thank you for being in the race is what I'm saying to them through this podcast.
Oh, we're not saying. Yeah, we're absolutely saying you want to do that. That's fine. If you have a Kindle Fire HDX, which is supposedly a really good tablet for its cost, and you're in love with Prime, you read a lot of books, you're huge into Audible. I mean, one of the other things that it's going to do is has that whisper sync, so you can read on it and then pick up the audio. This may not be a bad device if you're going in the Amazon ecosystem. This is fine.
These people exist.
Yes, they do. Not many, but they do.
So we're saying these are people that do their lives, or they've chosen to, for convenience's sake, they literally never go to a brick and mortar store. This I can get. I can get that everything is shipped to your house, but why? How the hell does the phone tie into that? Versus like, what essentializes the phone? Like, why? It doesn't even seem like it fits them. I don't know who I would recommend this to.
Well, this has the Chromecast type technology where if you're watching Prime on your phone and you have a Prime-enabled TV or Roku or whatever, it looks like you can just beam it over.
But is their pitch then, hey, you happen to have picked up a Kindle at Christmas and your kid gave you an Amazon TV, why not complete the trifecta? I mean, that's not a
Amazon,
how does AT&T sell this?
I mean, their content isn't really immersive enough, or isn't really grabbing enough to make me want to switch. I mean, yeah, it's great, it works everywhere, but I'd be more inclined to buy the hybrid Netflix/Spotify phone, right?
Okay.
That would be more appealing to me.
Until they buy both of them, but so
Amazon's music store isn't great. Their video streaming isn't fantastic by any means. It's not bad, but it's not great. There's nothing
their video
really
streaming, frankly, their free Prime movies anyway are almost worthless as I've seen it. But
look, their TV shows are good because I mean, my wife is watching a lot of Amazon TV, so I will give him that. And between Netflix and Amazon Prime, we're not displeased, let's say that.
Okay, so to me, going back to the price and the fact that I accidentally called this a mid-range phone, this only works for me at $250 to $300. $250 for the 16 gigabyte, or for the do it at 16 gigabytes. Forget the 30 starting at 32. Do it at 16 and 32, and do $250 and $300. And then, I mean, it's kind of weird because if you lose your phone that's on contract, hey, this one will tide you over for $250. But you're right, at $650. To sign up to be in a jail cell doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
What about this one? It has the Mayday button, and I don't think that gets enough attention. Imagine not having to troubleshoot and just pushing the button, and at any time somebody coming up. Now it's not going to be someone like Amy, and say, "Oh, you want to do this? Let me show you how to do it." I think that's something worthwhile.
I wonder how that would work in practice, like 2 years from now, right? Are they going to say, yeah, sorry, all of our great tech support we've outsourced, right? Is it going to be as bad as calling Dell?
Okay, by the way, Tom, because I had to sell a lot of Dell computers recently, their phone support is just heinously bad. I cannot tell you how many times I was transferred before. I mean, it was just, like, I could feel that the company, which used to be a giant, is like 5 guys in a basement somewhere.
Yeah,
anyway,
I have dealt with them far too much.
So Amazon now has started this Mayday thing, and it's a little creepy. I think that the Apple genius in the brick and mortar works better, but this is maybe.
I don't know about that.
Okay, but it's the type of thing where how much of another human being's time do you want to suck up? And if the device is so kind of messed up that how much work does that person have to do? The device has to be on a Wi-Fi network or somehow able to get on the internet enough.
No, it's free cellular. It's unbanned. It's uncapped cellular, so you can be on there unlimited. That's what it says.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, okay.
Well, the idea is telling someone just go to the Apple Store. Going to the Apple Store is not easy.
I got that.
I mean, and then going to the Verizon store is like you might as well just like ask some random street kid to like hold your phone and do something and hope that it works.
And hope you don't actually end up in like a Super City Wireless with the Verizon logo plastered on it, but they actually can't do anything except sell you cases, right?
So that is they actually have a plastic like machining thing in the back. They just keep popping them out. It costs them $1. They sell them for 45. But Han, you think that the Mayday thing? I think the Mayday thing is better. Would be better if it were focus on giving Amazon.com that functionality. And if this is a parlay into that, I could see it. But on the phone, it's weird. So they connect you, so you're video chatting with them, and then they, of course, I guess, have control enough over the phone that they can also then bring you to the proper settings page.
Probably.
So, but that says to me the phone is too complicated. Then if that's something you have to rely on, if that becomes a useful feature,
I don't think they're selling to us. I think they're selling to my grandmother.
Yeah, because you have to remember. I mean, telling someone how to what's it called on an iPhone to buy backup space, that's not easy. Even just to back up the phone. I mean, I know people who have never connected their iPhone to their computer.
Okay,
which isn't so much of a problem now.
Hi, wait, hold on. You keep mentioning that on the show, but you were back in like 2000.
No, I'm talking 6 months ago.
You never need to have hooked up the iPhone to a computer ever. The vast majority of iPhones, and they're absolutely fine having this be the case, will never have any data sent to them except wirelessly. That the Lightning port will purely be for electrons going in to charge the battery, and that's it, and that's fine.
Until you hit your 5 gig iCloud limit, and then every morning when you wake up, you have to hit that dismiss button because you've never purchased more space or offload it. And to solve it, you have to go to the you have to have someone walk you through on how to do it. So what
Tom,
do you do?
How long until your grandma would say to you, "I don't want to bother the nice lady at Amazon. I just leave the phone on the table. I don't want to trouble her."
So I'm on the Android equivalent of the speed dial list, right? I'm on her favorites. I've got an icon on the home screen, and I get those calls. And I have stopped getting those calls since she bought an Nexus 5. That's all I'm saying.
So, but the instructive part of that little vignette to me is that Mayday should not be required. When it becomes required, it's going to be a customer service thing. It's going to be that AT&T screwed up. It's going to be that the bill is too high. It's if it's about sending a photo from your phone to your TV, if someone wants to do that, they've got to kind of know it already. How much is it? Like it's a little gimmicky. It's kind of like the whole phone seems a little gimmicky.
Yeah.
And at the buy-in, it might be too high. Where are we at time?
We're at 23 minutes.
23.
So
Okay.
I've got a prediction. I've got one prediction, and this will be the death of me. Within 2 years, Samsung does this exact same thing with their own app store, with their phones, with a custom jail cell version of Android.
It's called Tizen. It's called Tizen. They've done this. It's Tizen. Is this other?
No, they're not. They're not there yet. I think Tom's closer to 2 years, and I don't know if it'll be called Tizen. It'll be called Android.
No.
I think it would be called the App Galaxy. I mean, why not call it the App Galaxy?
I think that Samsung is already there. This is what everyone wants. They want to be vertically and horizontally integrated when it comes to to a person's digital life, and Tizen is getting there. It's away from Android. They don't even want to not deal with patent issues, and it requires its own app store. They have I think there's one phone from Samsung out with it. This is the future is now as far as that's concerned. That prediction I think has legs already. Amazon is doing it via Android, but Samsung just doesn't have the guts or the know-how to do it right now. I think.
They're too busy copying Apple and all their stuff.
Well, maybe that's the case. So I like Amazon as a hardware manufacturer. How long until they can drop the price in this thing?
Oh, it's got to be soon. They're going to pull a Google with this. They're going to queue it up. They're going to say, "Oh, actually, we've sold like 6 of them, so it's $100 off contract. Just take them, please. We don't want them."
They cut the prices of the tablets. They cut the price of the tablets, and you see the commercials that they're undercutting the iPad. Why not put this? It doesn't cost $650 to make this thing.
let's not call it a Google, Tom. Let's call it an
Amazon
Uber.
is a services company. Why on earth are they charging this much for the hardware?
They're not a services company, though. At least they are. Certainly, they are in part. But they're the only one of the big guys that sells you stuff. And I said it before. If they do commercials, they're the only people that has the mentality, the Walmart mentality, to not only to get their vig on the commercial, like a percentage of the total sale, but to sell it to you. And they have the warehouses. That's not Google is not going to do that. They like anytime soon. That's the difference. So maybe we're underestimating the insight that they have into their consumers, and they're just going to bludgeon people with the fire on Amazon.com until they sell a bunch of them.
Fire Amazon drones.
There you go. But I could just see the nightmare scenario of Amazon taking over now, like starting with this facial tracking thing.
Well, I mean, you have Mayday there, where the lady or whoever is going to walk you through and have access to your device. That's the first step. I mean, if you're in the Amazon store and you like their Amazon Music service and you like the videos and you have their tablet, this may not be a far-fetched thing, but at $650, I mean, I'm looking at $300 off contract, which is probably the cost to make it. Take it. All their other stuff are loss leaders. Their tablets,
but you can't.
Fire.
Not everything, but everything cannot be a loss leader, because then you're just losing. You got to, it got to lead you to something where they're
actually. But don't up the price $300.
All right. So this might also be like a not even a competitive pricing thing, but they don't have the juice that Apple has in the manufacturing and the component purchasing, so they are at a disadvantage.
What happens if the help desk person? What happens if the help desk person is attractive?
Well, you hope that they are. Well, I was thinking, what if the help desk person, it's just like Omegle or Snap or Chat Roulette, and
it hooks you up with other Fire users. Is all it does.
Or they're just like, or the person just pointing the Fire at their crotch, and they're saying, "Yeah, track this facial. Yeah, I'll give you a facial." But
I'm asking if they made it a point to have only attractive or fun talking to Mayday people, is that a gimmick to sell more?
Yes, that is a good tactic on their part.
Maybe they would sell some.
All right, so where are we on time, Hans? We have time to throw in this little off.
We have 2.5 minutes. Just say Adobe sold something.
Okay, so it's called the Adobe Ink, and I have lost a lot of respect for it. For me, Adobe has kind of been a thorn in my side only with Flash and the Flash updates, automatic updating service, and the FlexNet licensing service, which must be running at all times, otherwise. But they've come out with this nifty hardware that works with the iPad for drawing. And as people who have listened to our gift shows around holiday season know, I like the Wacom pads. I like digital art. I like drawing in general. I've been drawing the entire time that we've been talking today. You can see it on the video. So Adobe is coming out with this is their first hardware, right? It's an interesting idea, and I kind of dig it. I think if you've got an iPad and you like to scribble for $200, you get these two interesting tools: a digital ruler and, of course, a digital pen. And I think that I'm giving everyone a preview of the holiday gift guide this year for $200. That's what it's going to be. Google Adobe Ink. See if you want to purchase one.
It looks interesting, but again, it's what Steve Jobs hated.
I guarantee you, if somebody even so much as touches this, they'll end up with, cancer or super AIDS or something. Knowing Adobe and their security holes, you're going to end up with all kinds of nasty viruses.
It doesn't have to be used with Creative Cloud, although there are tie-ins, of course. Somehow the pen has onboard storage that stores your pictures, which I don't dig. That should all be. But it's a neat drawing. It's a neat drawing tool. It's like an active stylus. It's kind of cool. All right.
I'm with Jobs. I don't get the stylus thing. Like, I understand the Wacom, right?
Drawing. Look,
I understand like the actual artist pads and
it's Adobe. We're talking about Photoshop. We're talking about Illustrator. That's where it comes in.
We'll see if it competes with Wacom, but I'm not convinced.
It is not for browsing the web. It is not for browsing.
It has pixel point technology.
Okay, that's great. Wow.
I don't know what that means.
Their marketing department was working quadruple overtime to come up with it.
Do you have to charge your pen, or does it just work?
No, you got to charge it because it is active. But you can erase with it.
Sorry guys, it's out of juice. I gotta charge it.
All right, so this has been episode some number of inThirty. Tom, thanks for filling in for Paul. Hopefully his flight was good, and we'll see you around. Bye.
Bye.